Today, I thought I could talk about. I've been feeling lately like just a greater excitement for life or a greater inspiration of just like how much possibility there is in this life or there is in every day. And so I thought I could, the kind of maybe theme of the talk today could be about how like life the world really is your oyster, and you really do get to create whatever experiences you want to live on this planet. And you might have be in a situation where you don't have a lot of resources and might be limited in what is possible for you or what you could create from that. And that is also an experience that is valid. Sometimes we're going to have times in our life where we have very little time or very little money, and it limits our options or it limits what the possibilities are in that moment. But everything that you are experiencing is something that you will eventually overcome. It's every problem in the world, eventually that problem will have a solution. And the question to ask ourselves, no matter what we are going through, is what if I imagine this problem being solved, what version of myself do I need to become that's aligned with my greatest values, that's aligned with becoming a better version of myself that would help me solve the problem I am facing? Right? If we have problems with mental health, if we have problems with anxiety and depression, usually that's a sign that I'm moving too quickly in life. I'm not taking enough time to connect with myself. I'm making poor choices that are draining my energy, that are sucking my life force energy. I'm spending time with people that are draining and exhausting. And what do I need to change in my life? What different choices could I be making that would help soothe my depression, anxiety? Do I need to focus more on self-care? Do I need to spend time if I feel really overwhelmed and stressed all the time, maybe I need to go do start doing yoga regularly. If I feel like there's nothing to enjoy in life, maybe I need to become more curious of what is it that I enjoy doing that is healthy and supportive for me? Because for me, something I've found is like the more I explore different types of art form, different sports, the more inspiration and passion I find. And oftentimes the things I explore are things I realize I really like doing. And I just wasn't like, for me, I didn't take an art class till like, I think my senior year of college. And taking the painting class, I was like, I'm not very good at this, but I freaking love to paint. And oftentimes our society our culture doesn't really support artists. It doesn't really support people's creativity, and it tries to keep people in lanes of follow what your parents did, sit at a cubicle, and that does not have to be your life. And maybe we find we have a life where we are comfortable financially and we do our passions on the side, and that's okay. This life is what you choose. And for some people, that would be that to even get to that point would be a big change from where they are in this moment. And that's, again, it's okay wherever we are at. It's okay whatever we desire and crave, but this life is you get to choose how much you wish to settle and compromise for what is really going to be your highest career, highest path. And maybe you go, Luke, I know what my highest career is. I know what my greatest passions or excitement is, but I have no clue how to turn that into a career, or have no clue how to get from point A to point B. And you might if we're at a part of our journey where we know what we're passionate about, we know what excites us and lights us up, but we don't know if it's even possible to turn that into a career, or we don't know we can see how it could become a career, but we don't know how to get to the career part. The question just becomes, am I willing to face uncertainty and continue to take step forwards, even if I don't know how it exactly is going to open up? And what you realize when you're taking steps forward is that you'll start to get new ideas and new inspirations, but you have to start taking steps and move beyond the part of yourself that doubts and stops you from going for the things you really want in this life. Like the part of you that is just desperate to settle and compromise for the first thing in our life that seems kind of okay. Like if we're thinking about dating someone, the part of ourselves that goes, you're good enough. And then we take that same mentality to the person who is okay, but doesn't really fully light us up or excite us, or doesn't really feel like they are our highest path as a partner. And we take that same mentality to our career and we go, this is good enough. And do we really want to live a life of good enough? And that doesn't mean we break up with our partner tomorrow. It doesn't mean that we break up with the career we're working with tomorrow. Life is all about moving slowly, mindfully, intentionally. And can we just become curious of, why do I feel like this person might not be the one? Why do I feel like there might be something better out there for me? And can I just start with that? Can I start and explore that thought and explore why I feel like this person might not be the one? And if we contemplate that and think about that, we might start to become more aware of things we've been overlooking, or the things we don't want to look at, that when we look at, we start to realize, I don't want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Or in career, if we become curious of what might be better out there for me, we might start to get inspired ideas. And the tendency a lot of people have is when they get inspired ideas, they doubt it so much that stops them from acting on it. And it's something I do too. I'm not going to be up here and be like, I've moved completely beyond doubt, or I've moved completely beyond being shy or being scared to talk to people. Sometimes I do that all the time. But, but it isn't about how many times we miss a moment. It's just about how many times we are willing to try again, and how many times, and the things that are really worth it, we will be willing to continue going down the path no matter how many times we get knocked down. And oftentimes people form goals of things that they think, like, if I become a famous actor, then I'll have all the money, all the attention, all the sex that my heart could desire. But it's not really coming from the pure place of I love acting. It's coming from a place of, I'm trying to achieve this for the validation and recognition I will receive, and it's misguided. And whatever you're trying to achieve, there's going to be days where you want to give up on it. There's going to be days when you don't want to do it. And you might feel like, I went to an open mic last night. When I was waiting to go up to speak, was there a part of me that went, I want to go home. I don't want to do this today? Yes. Did I ignore that? And I still went up and did it. And I was one of my favorite talks I've done recently? Yes. And so it's okay to not want to do things. It's okay to want to give up. It's okay if even we listen to that for one day, but it's about realizing, if it's something I actually want to create, if it's something I actually want to do in the long term, that I can't consistently listen to that voice if I ever actually want to create the most beautiful, amazing life I'd want to live, or a life filled with the greatest passion and excitement. And whatever I'm trying to create, can I do it because I love it and not for the external validation I think I'm going to receive when I achieve that? Like if I want to make a lot of money, there's two things: is am I trying to make a lot of money solely for the sake of making a lot of money, without while ignoring the journey I'm on of I'm miserable while trying to make a lot of money? And am I trying to make a lot of money because I think it will change how people see me? And both of those reasons are not the highest, is not the highest alignment with God or divinity to move about the world. And yes, you can still take that direction. You can still act. You can still try and make a lot of money, even on a path you're miserable, or even if it's just so people look at you differently. But in truth, when you get a lot of money, people are just going to see you the exact same person as you were, just with more money. And some people who relate to people more surface level might want to date you because you have a lot of money, or might want to have sex with you because you have a lot of money, but those will always be surface level relationships, transactional relationships of I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and will not be the deepest loving relationships you will have in your life. And so when we're trying to achieve something, the question is first, why am I trying to achieve this? Am I trying to achieve this because I love this? Or am I trying to achieve this because I think it will give me greater validation and recognition? The second thing to ask ourselves is, am I doing it as I'm trying to achieve this? Am I miserable doing it? And even something you really enjoy that really excites you up, or excites you, or you're passionate about, you're going to feel a little miserable doing it every now and then. But if I feel miserable every day doing this, it might be time to look at a different career or different choices I could be making. And there's a difference between working a career that makes us unhappy, but it gives us the resources we need to create a life of our greatest fulfillment and passion. And there's a difference from I'm just in a career where I'm comfortable, where I make a lot of money, and I go to this job every day, 9 to 5, and I don't like it, but it gives me a comfortable life. And do we really want to live a life where we were comfortable, but coasted through our experience, where we let our greatest dreams fall by the wayside as a way of just staying comfortable in mediocrity? And that's okay. Maybe mediocrity was kind of a harsh word, but the truth is, if you only got to live this life once, and let's say you live hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, and you get to be this person once, and you get to live every day once, wouldn't you want to live a life of your greatest adventure and excitement, rather than a life where I settled and compromised and coasted and allowed my greatest dreams to either never actualize, or I gave up on them too early because I thought it was too hard or too uncertain? And this advice isn't leave your job tomorrow. This advice is become curious about what you could do that would be more exciting, and find ways to create that. Use the resources you have in your comfortable job to create a career that you would actually want to go to show up to every day, and that would be exciting and enlivening for you. And start to become curious of, could I actually live a life of my greatest excitement? Could I actually find a partner that excites me and fills me with greater love than I could even frickin' imagine. And could it even be the most simple and easy relationship I've ever been to? And what if I need to be strong in my nose to tell the universe I'm ready for more? And the nuance to this is when we're starting out, like for a while I lived with my parents, and to take that truth that I just talked about and to apply it to career, sometimes we might, especially on this planet, we might need to do things we don't really want to do. We might need to do jobs in order to move in a direction that'd be healthy and beneficial. Like I used to live with my parents. I didn't really enjoy living with my parents, and I was in a stage in my life where I needed to say yes to jobs and career options that didn't really excite me that much, or were somewhat exciting but didn't seem like the highest path, in order for me to reach my goal of being in a more supportive environment for me and not living with my parents anymore. So sometimes we will have to do that. And sometimes we will need to work jobs where isn't our full excitement to provide for our kids. But there is always a question of, if there really is infinite possibilities every day, can I become curious of, is there a better way for me to make a living and support my family than the job I'm working that I'm not happy in? And can I move towards that direction of what I would actually want to do slowly or efficiently, or whatever way feels the most aligned to supporting our family, in alignment with our heart, and in alignment with the people that my choice I'm making will impact. And people sometimes, when we're trying to live our greatest dreams, are going to tell us that that's not possible, or I don't think you can do it. And those are people to spend less time with. Those are not people to listen to. And we always want to take our, or what we imagine would be the most incredible life, and to ground it into reality, which means I move logically, rationally, and most of the time slowly towards the thing I'm trying to create. I'm not trying to give birth. I'm not trying to get pregnant and give birth in a day, right? I take the cycle of growth, and I allow myself to be pregnant and to give birth 9 months later, or maybe or a little bit longer than that, whatever we're trying to create. And sometimes the things we're really passionate about, or the things that really light us up and excite us, are going to take a long time to create. And if it really is our highest path, we will desire taking that journey anyways. And the next thing for us to look at on this journey of life is your oyster. And there's an example. Okay, there's an example I want to give right before we move on to the next thing, which is, the example is, I was listening to this guy. He was teaching a master class on writing, and he talked about that he wrote for 15 years before he got his first book published. And what that is highlighting is that he enjoyed writing so much that even the fact of him writing every day, and him not turning into a career right away, he still enjoyed the process so much that that the journey was worth it. That the act of writing gave his life greater, lit him up and excited him more than it took away from his life. And so he took the journey of continuing to work towards it, no matter how long it took. And sometimes, and something I tell myself is, like, with this YouTube channel, with channeling, which, I understand that, it doesn't really look like I'm channeling, it kind of just looks like I'm talking. But but this talk I'm giving is pretty much, besides the topic, which was like the life is your oyster, is almost fully improvised. And I do practice, but it never comes out the way I practice it, and it's always different and nuanced, and usually better than what I was practicing. and this and this and channeling is essentially aligning yourself with your higher self and allowing your higher self to speak through you, or aligning yourself with your guides and allowing your guides to speak through you. And some people are trance channels, which means they have to go into a state, an altered state, where their personality is pushed to the side and they fully merge with their guide or higher self. And then some people are able to stay awake and aware. And for me, like, I get impressions, or sometimes it's like I just start talking about a subject and I don't really know where it's going, and the words just flow through me. And that's what's called a conscious channel. And if we're sensitive to energy, maybe we can start to feel the energy of the talk as we listen. But sometimes it takes us a little while to become more sensitive to energy. And we might just think, oh, he has a nice soothing voice or a good message. And that's okay too. But something I tell myself with channeling is that I am just going to work at it till people can't deny my talent anymore. I'm going to continue to create YouTube videos towards when people watch it, they go, holy shit, that's the most amazing message I've ever heard. And that is my goal. I don't care how little or how many people watch it. Obviously, I'm trying to help people find greater peace and harmony in their life. And so if more people watch it, that's beautiful and amazing. But there's only so much I can control in this. And I try and make the best YouTube videos I can and the best thumbnails and titles, but I'm still learning and growing, and it's a process and it's not going to be perfect. But can we, whatever we're working at, whatever life is, whatever would be our greatest passion and excitement, can we just say, I'm willing to do this, not because of how many people recognize or validate me, but because of the life this gives me to do and to share and to create from, and also the journey of becoming better at something I really enjoy, and getting to a place where more and more people start to see how incredible you are at it because you didn't give up. And the next thing I want to talk about in creating from, like, life is our oyster, is being intentional about who we are creating with. Because if our world, our culture, the West that I grew up in, the culture that I am in the United States, is very focused on money, wealth, fame, popularity. That's what makes you happy. And so then we come into adulthood and we try and follow a path that isn't our highest excitement or passion, but that will give us all the money, all the sex, all the recognition we desire. And you listen to people who talk about what they want, and it sounds like something from a popular culture magazine, and not actually what would like bring them excitement or bring them greater passion in their life or inspiration. And then they wonder, why do I feel so uninspired all the time? And it's because you're creating a life not from your inspiration, but you're creating a life because of what our culture told you would make you happy. But in truth, it's just you trying to feel the value and the recognition by achieving outside things that you haven't really learned to feel in yourself every day. And I was listening to Will Smith talk about being famous on Instagram. And he was talking about there's rock bottoms, which is some people's experience. And then there's also experience, which he called cliff top, where you get all the fame, all the recognition, all the money, everything you ever desired. And you realize, and you start to ask yourself, is there more? Is there more to this? Because I still feel as empty and unexcited about life as I did when I had nothing. And he said it's about learning to feel how making purchases or someone choosing to be your partner, how that feels, learning to feel that on the inside when you need it. And I would even say speaking to yourself how a partner would speak to you that's in love with you. Giving yourself encouragement, giving yourself love and praise when no one else is around, like your soulmate is standing right next to you, telling you how much they admire and adore you and are so grateful to live the life with you. And also reminding yourself that you are worthy no matter how much or how little you achieve. If we feel unworthy and we feel unvaluable, that can be changed. And we change it by pointing out what's worthy and valuable and enough about ourselves as we are in this moment, and doing that regularly and doing it when we think we need it. And like for me, I have a brain, and I think a lot of people have a brain, where I tend to sometimes focus a lot on what's wrong and not a lot on what's right. And I've gotten a lot better at it, and I've taught this before, but pointing out when I notice I'm doing that, okay, what did I do right today, Luke? What did you do right today? You cleaned your apartment. You have the right to feel good about that. And reaffirming and reprogramming and creating a lens for me to see my life through of everything is right. Even if life is going not how I want it to, everything is right. And life is giving me the experience I need, not the experience my ego desires. And life will wear you down and sometimes break you down as a way of helping your ego that's trying to control your life to start to let go of its grasp a little and start to let the more energy of your soul into your body. And I heard another teacher talk about how there's a certain point where he became aware and he started seeing like ghosts of people, but walking behind their body. And he asked his higher self, this is Matt Kahn, by the way, he asked his higher self, what was he seeing? And he was seeing people's souls walking behind their body because that person's ego was giving no space for that soul to step into the body. And so the soul was bringing that body to life from afar, giving the ego space to wear out its control patterns, wear out its negativity and toxicity, to finally collapse and let more of the love and light and positivity of your soul step into your body. And if you're in a position where you're overthinking a lot, you're completely overwhelmed and stressed, you go, I can't believe life is this hard. One, it might be time to consider, is there things I could choose that would be more supportive to me during this time? Or can I try and listen to what do I need today and what's going to help me get through this day a little bit quicker and seamlessly? And the next thing is, what if this is life actually helping me embody my greatest love and positivity and guidance by breaking down my ego that's trying to manage and control every aspect of my life? And the one that's having a hard time is my personality structure, my ego, and I'm going to be okay. My body will be okay. Even if I don't survive this, your soul will live on. It will get a second try. And we don't need to get a second try if we're willing to just love ourselves now and look at what is the areas inside that need greater balance. Am I constantly searching and seeking a partner because I'm looking for greater validation? And can I take that as a sign I need to validate myself more? And actually, I probably should align myself with, I really don't need to seek a partner right now, no matter how much I desire it, because that's just feeding the part of me desperate for validation, and it's ignoring the greater connection I would find if I stopped feeding that part. And it's kind of like the third act. The third act of this talk is around being intentional about who, and I think I've touched on this a little already, about being intentional about who I'm creating my life with, right? If I'm in a business relationship, is the partner I have really someone that I imagine this creation we're trying to create together going smoothly? And I've really taken the time to get to know them to think, is this actually a good business partner for me to have? Or did I just jump on an opportunity without really taking the time to consider, is this someone that would actually be good to create a business with? And the same is with a family. Am I just trying to check the box off of having kids and having a family with the first person that seems somewhat attractive? And did I really take time to slowly get to know my partner before agreeing to have their babies? And really questioning, is this person a good, a good wife and would be a good parent? Or does one seem a little out of balance where maybe they seem like they'd be an awesome parent, but they don't really feel like the highest wife or partner I could have, or highest husband that I could have, or maybe they seem like an awesome husband, but when I think about them, man, being a parent, they don't seem like they would be a very good parent. And if I'm really desire starting a family, and my partner doesn't seem like they'd be a good parent, there's a partner out there for you that would be a good parent, but you're probably not going to find them if you stay in the relationship you're in. And if we are, and wherever we are, can we give our heart love and compassion and know that it's okay whatever I choose, or it's okay whatever I still need to explore or be curious in, and or how slowly or how fastly I move? Because we all get to choose the pace of our journey, and we all get to choose how much or how little time we spend with people. God gives us the people, and we get to write the chapter of what happens with that person. And even the one writing the chapter, while it might be a little distorted, is also God, because your ego is God. Your God gave you your ego is God, your soul is God, but we always have a choice of, do I want to listen to my soul or do I want to listen to my ego, which is ego. Our ego probably is a lot of our history of pain and a little bit of soul, or maybe it's half and half, or maybe it's even a little bit more soul and a little less of our history and pain. And we can all be a little aware of where we're at. But if we think I don't have an ego, oftentimes the people that think they don't have an ego are the ones who have the biggest ego. And the people who are going, oh God, my ego, are actually the people who might need a little bit more ego or a little bit more or attachment or anchored in this life. Your ego is not the problem. It's how you relate to life is the problem. And if you learn to be more loving and gentle with yourself and more loving and gentle with your ego, you might be surprised about how your life changes. And also thinking about, if I'm to bring it back, if I'm getting close to the age where I can't have children anymore, and I want to have kids, instead of rushing and seeking for a partner, there's a couple different options. The first option is, I'm going to hold out and take it slowly and get to know people. And if I don't find someone within the time I can have kids, then I must not be meant to have kids in this lifetime. Or I'm going to leave it, or I'm going to move slowly. And if I find the right person in time to have kids, great. And if I don't find the right person in time to have kids, then I'll adopt. Second option. There's a third option of, I'm going to have a kid now, and I will, and while I can still have a child, and then move slowly, intentionally about finding a person that will help me raise this child. That would be the highest alignment of a husband I would want, and a highest alignment of a partner, as a parent I would want. And like going to if we're a woman going to a sperm bank or, maybe even asking a friend if they'd be willing to donate their sperm so that we could have a child with someone that we know and trust and is healthy and know they're a good person and that what they're going to pass down into the baby that I want to have is going to be positive qualities and positive traits, and maybe we think they're even a little handsome or whatever. But there is multiple options towards it. But rushing to try and find a partner before the deadline of having babies hits usually will mean we end up finding a partner that when we start to get them to know them deeper, we go, oh gosh, they're not the right person, because you can't, rushing is always, almost all the time, leads to missteps. When you're taking it slowly, you are most likely not going to misstep. And there's always exceptions, and maybe there's even an exception in rushing. I'm, it's kind of hard to speak about across the board about life because life really is. Everyone's path is completely different, but most of the time we are going to be better served by taking it slowly and either surrendering to I may or may not have kids in this life, or I'm going to have kids with a sperm donor, or borrow the sperm or use the sperm of a friend because I really want a child and I'm not finding the partner that I imagine hasn't come into my life yet, and surrendering into what the moment is asking of us. And one other, I was going to talk about, like, for me, one of the reasons why I learned it was bad to, like, or it wasn't really helpful to rush is when I was living with my parents, I was really ready to not live with them. And the universe gave me a very clear example that I was trying to move too quickly. And I was given an example. I was in Colorado. We had gone up, I think it's called Manitou Point. It's like 3,000 steps. And we had gone all the way up. And then you can go back down the steps, or you can take switchbacks down the side of a mountain. And we were going down these switchbacks, and there's people going by me that were running. And I went, oh, that looks like fun. I'm going to run a little bit. And I'm with my sister and my step siblings. And I start running. And I've told this story before a long time ago in a different video, but called Divine Timing. But I decide to run, and I'm running down this trail. And then I pause and I take it and I stop for a little bit, and then I start running again. And I'm going like full speed downhill, down a mountain, and the path is gravelly. And I go to take a stride, and my foot hits gravel and it slips out from under me. And full speed, I knee a rock beneath me on my right knee. And I heard in that, and I like was very lucky that I missed my tibia and my kneecap, and I landed like on my patella and didn't shatter any of my bones, but I did end up really hurting my knee, and like my knee was swollen for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk. I ended up tearing my ACL, and I've re-injured it a couple of times, and it's still recovering like over a year later. It sucks. And it's something we learn of when I'm sprinting towards finish lines and I'm moving too quickly. It's a great chance for an accident to happen that then takes years to recover. And as my siblings eventually caught up to me, and I was able to get down the rest of the mountain. And as I heard as we were reaching the finish line in my head so clearly, whether you sprint towards something or you take your time, you always get there when you're meant to get there. And so can we take our time? Can we take our time, because it was always the better option? And like you always, when you make a misstep, you always get 2020 hindsight of like, oh, the tread was worn out on my shoes. Oh, the path was really gravelly. Oh, I was like working at Stretch Lab at the time and I need my body to be able to make a living. What was I thinking? And when we take it slowly and we move slowly, we see more of that 2020 vision but before we end up making the choice and then make the right choice. And when we're trying to achieve external things, are we achieving it because it is our highest excitement? It will bring the most life to us or be the most affirming? Or are we trying to achieve it because of external validation or how good it sounds or what a beautiful book cover it makes to the story of our life? But when someone opens up the book, it's just blank pages. And there wasn't a lot of deeper meaning to our life because we were chasing external without being slow and intentional about what we were actually trying to create. And maybe we're creating a job that, sometimes people create jobs that allow them to retire early or start businesses that allow us to retire early. And we're going to have to listen into what feels true about what Luke is sharing. What is actually, what if I take this teaching and apply it to my life, what fits and what doesn't fit? What can I let go? What can I ignore from this teaching? And what do I really need to listen to? Because this might not be able to be applied. While these are deeper truths and deeper meanings, there might be just some of the message that we really need and other the message that we need a little less. And we're all going to have to take this teaching, integrate it into our life and go, what is this teaching highlighting in me that is going to help me move forward better in the future? And what did I need to hear from this today? And when we can be mindful of this might not be everything I needed to hear, just certain portions and aspects and certain things that I need to re-look at or revisit in order to create my most fulfilling life, is when we really start to walk a path of maturity and integration. Because just like eating a meal, maybe we didn't need every nutrient in that meal, but our body really needs certain nutrients that meal provided. And so what are the certain nutrients you needed from this teaching that will help you be more mindful and direct and take a more clear path of creating the greatest life you could ever imagine, creating the life of your dreams? And what it feels out of alignment when you are listening to this talk of things that either you need to change subtly or make big changes, or people you need to let go, or even careers you need to let go. But can we do that slowly? And can we make sure that I'm not free falling into abyss, but I'm slowly walking up a mountain or slowly walking down the mountain of where I actually need to get to go? So I hope that helps. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your support. I love you all. Bye.